played 3-1-3 for the Reds in Europe so far, so there is an added incentive at Anfield tonight. Victory in a place in the last 16 is secured with 2 games to spare. It is match day 4 of this season's Champions League. Liverpool against Atletico Madrid. The action gets underway at 8 p.m. Welcome to the Matchday Live preview. It's a big one tonight, and joining me for it, another epic European encounter, Jason McAteer and Stephen Warnock. Before we hear from them, let's head inside the stadium and to Rob Jones.
Good evening, everybody. The halfway point of the Champions League group stage, and already the lineup for the last 16 is just beginning to take shape. Last night, Bayern Munich and Juventus booked their place in the knockout stages. Can Liverpool join them this evening? Only once before this season had they won their opening 3 group games. They did that once again by taking an excellent victory in the Spanish capital a fortnight ago in an absolutely pulsating game. Liverpool gave themselves a 2-goal advantage. The Spanish champions hit back, only for Mohamed Salah to secure victory from the penalty spot. Liverpool will be desperate to do the same again this evening, and those 2 final games against Porto and Milan will just allow them to maybe rotate their squad, something you wouldn't have thought Jurgen Klopp will be thinking too much about this evening. Probably a question mark at centre-half. Joel Matip has played in every minute of the group stages so far. Will he come in place of Ibrahima Konate, who played in the league game against Brighton at the weekend in that match that finished 2-2? Liverpool lost Naby Keita to a hamstring injury. They are boosted, though, by the return of both Thiago and Fabinho. As for Atletico Madrid, they climbed up to 4th in La Liga with a 3-0 victory over Real Betis over the course of the weekend. A couple of suspensions for Diego Simeone to worry about tonight. No Antoine Griezmann, who was sent off in the reverse fixture in Spain a couple of weeks ago, and no Stefan Savic either. That, coupled with Jeffrey Kondogbia, who's suffering from a concussion and is a doubt as well, leaves them maybe a little bit short in defence, but they, as ever, will be a real threat. And, of course, the line will be led by Luis Suarez, who has 6 goals in his last 7 matches. So Liverpool looking to get the job done. Jurgen Klopp said that Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid has never played a friendly match in all their history. Atletico will have happy memories of this ground. They booked their place in the last 8 of the Champions League a couple of seasons ago on the night where football and probably the world changed forever.
It was a memorable moment, the last encounter here between the 2 sides, of course. Yeah, it's a pretty unique position in some ways for us to have this situation. We could qualify tonight. We look at Group B, it's a very strong position to be in. It couldn't have gone much better for us, Jason, thus far in the competition.
Absolutely. I think we've been outstanding this season in the Champions League. I think when the group came out, we've seen Porto, Milan and Atletico Madrid. We could make an argument for Liverpool to struggle in every game, or the opposition to pose real questions to Liverpool. But they've come through it. They've come through it with flying colours. I felt Milan, certainly at home, the first half an hour was the best I've seen Liverpool play for a long, long time. And then obviously they had a slip up, didn't they? Become a little bit too easy, which is something that in recent performances has become quite common with Liverpool performances, getting themselves in front, then all of a sudden switching off the gas and then getting found out, you know, backs up against the wall and then get themselves back into different fixtures. But I think in this competition they have been outstanding and deservedly atop right now.
Even though you look at the group, as drawn as Jason said, probably the most difficult group we've had for a little while as well. It looked on paper a very difficult challenge in front of us, yet here we are. It could be sealed our progress tonight.
Yeah, I think when you look at the group, I'd say ultimately you'd go AC Milan and Atletico would be the tough games. I never thought Porto would really cause too much of a fuss. I didn't think they were that strong. I think the Portuguese league isn't as hyped up as it's quite hyped up, should I say. It's not as good as people make it out to be. So it was the 2 other teams that were your main concerns. To beat one at home on the first game was hugely important, but to go away to Atletico and to win the game, I think that was just as important. And I think what it does is, you think back to that knockout game when we went out to Atletico and you couldn't bridge the defence, and it looked like you could have been there all night and you wouldn't have scored. For Liverpool to go there and score 3 goals this season will change the mentality tonight in the changing room, because I think we can score goals past this team.
We saw there in the other game in this group, it's an early kick-off. Porto currently 1 goal up in Italy. What does it do for our season if we can get qualification done tonight, Jason? How much easier does that make it for Jurgen Klopp to manage his squad going into December?
Well, of course we know over the Christmas period, December and into early January, and the FA Cup kicks in as well, or the Champions League drops off, but to have the the luxury of resting key players that you can depend on week in, week out. We'll look at it and think the likes of Virgil van Dijk, maybe Alisson, you could rest these players, maybe a Jordan Henderson, maybe a Mo Salah you could pull out the team as well, because the hard work's been done. You're through the group, and you don't have to worry about the 2 games that are going to come. So it's a nice luxury to have. They've earned it, and hopefully tonight they can get that point that'll secure qualification, and he'll have the luxury of doing that. But it's massively important knowing that injuries around that time of the season as well come upon us, don't they? And to have that luxury of maybe playing a few fringe players is just great.
As you mentioned, we scored 3 goals in the first meeting between the 2 sides, and that will be in the thoughts of the players tonight. From the game point of view, do you expect something similar tonight, as open an encounter we saw in Spain?
I think Jurgen Klopp would like it to be as open, because then that's a sign that Atletico are throwing players forward, they're leaving gaps in behind, and it is giving you opportunities. But will Atletico come here and play a similar game as they played at home? Absolutely not. They'll come here and try and frustrate, they'll try and hit on the counter-attack, they'll try and probably score off set pieces as well. I think they'll want the game a lot tighter than the game out in Atletico.
I think, when we think of Simeone and Atletico Madrid, we think of this team that is, they talk about the dark arts, aren't they, but also really good at defending, really good at making it very difficult for opponents. I don't see it this season. They only conceded 25 goals last season in 69 games. They've conceded 10 already. They're not the defending outfit that we've become accustomed to over the last few seasons. Something that they pride themselves on is defending and clean sheets, and letting teams really work hard for to create chances or even just score goals. But this is a kind of a different outfit. I think Liverpool exposed them over in Spain, like Stephen said. I think it is an open game, it plays into Liverpool's hands, but I also think an open game plays into their hands with the quality that they've got, and that's what happened in Spain. Once the game opened up, because it had to, because they were 2-0 down, you've seen the likes of Lamar and the quality. All right, Greenson's not playing tonight, but you've seen that João Felix come out of his shell. There's players in there that can create and really, really hurt you, and I feel the best option to go maybe for Simeone tonight, especially with Porto winning, like you've just said, it puts them under pressure to come out and actually have a go at Liverpool. Liverpool this season, defensive-wise, have not been great and shaky. We'll have to see if Fabinho plays, and I think that's a big key for Liverpool defensively. If he doesn't play, I'd tend to get at them tonight.
Yeah, they're not as defensively resolute as they have been in recent seasons. Of course, it's a team that is transitioning to be more offensive, and still some weaknesses there. OK, well, yesterday Jurgen Klopp revealed the bad news on Naby Keita's hamstring injury, but also had some good news to offer with the return to contention for Thiago and Fabinho. Here's the boss speaking with Glenn Price.
Naby's out. I think everyone knows that for a while with a hamstring, and Fabinho and Thiago both trained full session yesterday already. Thiago a few more, so means they will be in contention, how we say.
Good stuff. You can get through to the knockout rounds with a victory. It's going to be tough, but it's a really good opportunity for you and your side.
It is, but you said it right, it's going to be tough. So that's how Champions League football is, especially in this group. So we know all that, so we don't have really to mention it. It was clear after the game, when you win the first 3, that means it's a good start. When you win the first 4 in the group, then you are through. I don't think ever in the history of Champions League a team got knocked out with 12 points. So we don't have to mention it, we have just to go for it. And it's so long ago that we played the Champions League game here. So AC Milan was the first one. Since then we were on the road pretty much. So, but this is what it's all about. That's what we were celebrating so much when we last year qualified for the Champions League, that we have these nights again. And for a long time in the last season, it didn't look like we will have it. Now we have it, and now we should cherish it. Now we should celebrate it, and that's what I plan to do tomorrow. And not celebrating in a football way, let me say like this, together with all our friends and family here in the stadium. That would be absolutely great, because it's a tough one. We all know that. Atletico, I'm not sure they ever played since Diego Simeone is there a friendly game. So they're always 100% in it, and that's what we have to be as well. That's what we try to be, and let's work together properly, create a special European night atmosphere, and it will be harsh for them as well.
It was such an entertaining game in Madrid between the two teams. Is there anything you'll look to do differently this time?
We're not conceding, we thought. Yeah. So extending the good spells as well. But if it would be that easy, then so many more teams would have done it. You know, the atmosphere there is absolutely insane, so they can push them as well. And getting a league knock with the 2 goals, but then winning the game anyway, is a big one. It's not important if it can 10 or 11. That's not important. That's a big one. And so I'm really pleased with that. And now let's try to build on that, on the good parts of the game.
Yeah, plenty of good in that performance, but there will be things he looks to tighten up, improve, and he mentioned the defensive issues. In terms of selection, it seems to be just now, Jason, that we get a midfielder back, we lose a midfielder. Yeah. There seems to be a revolving door. No Naby Keita, but hopefully Fabinho could potentially come into contention. Thiago could. What does Thiago bring in a game like this if we can bring him back in for you?
Well, keeping the ball, tempo, dictating play, experience, massive. Especially on big European nights, and that's not taking any away from young Curtis Jones if he was to come in and replace him. I'm not so sure he's quite ready, Thiago. I'd be more inclined to throw Fabinho back in because I just feel he's a big loss, but he can handle a 90 minutes in the position he plays. Thiago will want to get on the ball and dictate a bit more and maybe have to do a bit more running. But there's no reason why he wouldn't throw him in. I just think it's too soon for Thiago, and plus he's been out a lot longer as well, hasn't he? But yeah, I mean, it's great to have him back on the bench, like you say. It's a big area for us, isn't it? The midfield. You know, we've seen how much, you know, they dictate. You know, the front players playing well, and also offer, you know, some cover for the back four as well. And when Fabinho doesn't play in there, we are vulnerable. It's just the way we are. You know, as good as Jordan Henderson is in there, he's more of a ball player, wants to get on the ball, dictate. But Fabinho sees things, you know, he's able to get tackles in, break things up, sees danger, but also give it to the players in front of him, you know, to go and do things. He's not interested in that, and that's what we're missing at the minute.
Yeah, it's always good when a player has a spell and comes back with a new haircut. He's growing it back in, Thiago, just to throw the commentators off for his return. Not featured since Crystal Palace. It's a shame because he'd had a really good run prior to that. He seemed to start to look like the player he was at the back end of last season again.
How many times have we had that though with players at the moment? And that's the issue, is that we're struggling to keep midfielders fit. And I think when you look at the problem area at the moment, it is that midfield. It is who's going to play the next game. There's no reliability, and that's where you look at Wijnaldum and say how important he was. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here.
You want him back?
I think he'll come back on loan in January.
Yeah.
I just think if you're not playing and you know what he's capable of doing, and you're struggling in them areas, it's like, well, why wouldn't you bring someone like that back if you can do it? Because but there's no reason why it couldn't happen. No, I know, but I'm just thinking. There's problems in there, isn't there, at the moment? Harvey Elliott's going to come back. At what point? How fit's he going to be? I think Curtis needs this year not playing every week, but playing in drips and drabs just to get used to it. I think we forget how young Curtis is as well. But then you look at Naby Keita and you go, injury prone, can't rely on him. Thiago, injury prone, can't rely on him. Fabinho picks up injuries because of because of the way he plays and the way he is. Then you're looking at James Milner, he's getting older. Jordan Henderson is your most reliable player in there at the moment, but we've seen his injury record in the past, and that's where you look at everything, you think that's our problem position at the moment, and it's something that he will probably be worried about. The other option is that do you go to two holding midfielders and then play Firmino in front of them, because you know the work he can do off the ball, and then you put the forward three on as well.
Durability is a quality in a player that's often overlooked, but it was Gini Van Allen's perhaps biggest asset. He was always available. I think he missed like 8-9 games or something in about 5 years.
Yeah.
But if you're a player in his position, it's a great idea that Steven's put forward.
Absolutely,
do you think you would consider, or do you think, you know what, I need to try and see this out and try and force my way in? At what point do you look at for Gini? You know, he's gone to Paris, big expectations, he's playing with Messi, all this excitement, a new challenge for him, new city. Does he get to January and he's already thinking, oh, maybe I need to go do something? Or I suppose you've got the World Cup coming up down the line next year, so you want to be playing regularly. And
I feel sorry for him. I see the PSG scenario very similar to Manchester United scenario with Ronaldo and Messi. You know, both clubs have been offered these players, and it's hard to resist, isn't it? But Pochettino and Solskjaer, I think if they're sitting at home, they're actually thinking, you know, I've got a way of playing. If I bring them into the football club, I might have to change what I'm doing here to accommodate them players. And I think when you do that, other players can fall foul of you changing things. I think Gini Wijnaldum was a fantastic signing for Paris Saint-Germain. I think, you know, what you get out of him is consistency, reliability, honesty, and he's very good at what he does. He's one of them players where you need to watch him for 90 minutes and appreciate sometimes. I thought it was what Paris Saint-Germain needed. Now, we can't break into the team because the playing may be slightly different now because of Messi's accommodating him. They're accommodating Mbappe maybe because the whole dynamics change and he's just not fitted into it. I think it's a great idea. I think, you know, Jurgen Klopp, I'm sure he wouldn't have dismissed it, and I'm sure he'd be looking at it. And if he comes back in January, it'll only be to our benefit.
Watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it does happen.
Matt didn't even see it. Well done. I like that.
Jurgen, if you're watching this, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, going into this game, and both sides know what's at stake and know just how hard it's going to be to get the desired result. Let's get the thoughts from inside both camps now from two England teammates. Kieran Trippier for Atletico, but first up it's Jordan Henderson.
Always going to be tough against Atletico. You know, they're a fantastic side. As we found out last game, really, quality players. Work extremely hard together as a team, defensively, good on the counter attack, and yeah, Diego Simeone is a world class manager, and he'll have them set up in a way which you think that can hurt us, but it's down to us to make sure that we perform on the night, and if we do that, then hopefully we can get another good result as we did in Madrid a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's important the way we play, and we focused on Liverpool. We played them a couple of times over the years, so yeah, tomorrow's going to be a special occasion, and we've got to fight. We've got to be ready for the game and go there with the winning mindset and the winning mentality to get the 3 points.
You know, it's a tough group with top teams in it, and so far we've done really well in them games. So it's another tough test tomorrow night. It'll be a difficult game, but one that we know that if we get a good result, we can qualify, like you said, with 2 games to go, which would be a big bonus. But ultimately, we're just focusing on the game and what we can do performance-wise in terms of getting that result that we need.
No, we don't go into any game to try and go for the draw. We go to win. We've got that winning mentality in this club. So yeah, we go there full of confidence. We have a fantastic squad, you know, to match Liverpool. So, of course, we go there to win. You've shown the character, the desire, the fight that we've shown last year against Liverpool. It'll be no different tomorrow. So, for sure, we go there with a winning mentality to get the 3 points.
You played with Luis Suarez, you played against him. I just wondered what the challenges are when you come up against a player like him.
A lot of challenges. I think we all know he's a top player for a long time, produced so many good moments at Liverpool, and yeah, I learnt a lot from him while he was here. You know, I'm quite close to him. I speak to him now and again, but yeah, he's world-class player, and he causes a lot of problems for defences. He's always in and around the goal, and if he gets a chance, I'm sure he'll take it. So we've got to be on our guard with him. Not only him, you know, they've got world-class players all over, but certainly Louis is a top striker and will cause any team problems.
Yeah, 82 Liverpool goals for Luis Suarez. 42 of them came here at Anfield. He could very well be involved from the off tonight, Jason. Whether he gets a good reception to begin with, ultimately come full time, he deserves one because he was fabulous when he was here.
Absolutely, he does deserve a reception. I just didn't think it was the right moment when Barcelona came here. Listen, we were 3-0 down when he came here. The crowd just wanted to make it as hostile as possible for him, and I was in the tunnel. You know, the crowd done an unbelievable job. I seen them walk in, they were like, what is going on here? The players, I mean, apart from having the worst suits on I've ever seen in my life, they were shocking.
Hold on a minute.
Like,
hold on, 96
you know,
cup
I like
final,
my
man.
fashion.
But
I didn't pick that suit. Let's just
matter,
put it out there.
Still, you wore it.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think they all stood there and picked that?
Well, someone's picked it. I bet it wasn't their goalkeeper picked that suit. Anyway, we digress. But what I was saying...
If I'm someone from the Barcelona squad watching this on Twitter now, scrolling down, Jason Mack, 96, I think. Gear.
Anyway, Anyway, Tom Brown, I think it were the suits, if I'm mistaken. Anyway, he deserves more, like, from Liverpool fans, and I personally think he'll get it tonight. You know, I just think, like I said, they tried to make it hostile. You know, they tried to get into the players and disrupt their, you know, the psyche of you know, their preparation, and they did an unbelievable job. And then the players obviously taking it onto the pitch and they done their business. But he obviously got wrapped up with Robbo, didn't he? The protection of Messi and all that kind of stuff, and he got played out to be the pantomime villain, which was a shame really, because he deserves better, because he was not a superstar when he was here. Absolute superstar.
The thing is, Stephen, although he's racked up a few more miles on the clock, he's still an exceptional player. 7 goals already this season. I would. But 7 goals already. He's their top goal scorer. He helped them win the league last season. He's still a very, very good footballer.
Yeah, and he'll be thriving off what's going on at Barcelona. That'll be driving him to do better, to keep them down. Because of the way he left them. I think he'll look to come back and he'll want a good reception tonight. I think he will. I think if he stays out till the end, like Adam Lallana did the other day, I think he'll get that reception. I think the fans will give him that. He's a magnificent player, isn't he? When you watch him even now, how he's so driven, and the way he is now on the pitch after all he's won, after everything he's done, just shows you the level of commitment and his love for football.
Yeah, a fabulous footballer, and could play a big role tonight if we let him. Okay, I will pause it just now. That's it from us for now, but we'll be back on LFC TV with Matchday live from 7 o'clock UK time. Jason and Stephen are with me for all the build-up, including a chat with Fernando Torres. Nigel Spackman joins Steve Hunter for live audio commentary from Anfield at 8. And finally, we'll have all the reaction from the match against Atletico at 10. Do join us if you can.